All right, so I suppose it's time to finish this little project up. I mean, and by finish, I mean for now. The floppy disk drive, as we remember last time, wasn't reading disks properly, wasn't able to detect track 0. And I had determined, hopefully correctly, but we'll see, that it's almost definitely the track 1 sensor, which is actually a switch. Let's see if I can get it in a view here. You can kind of see the little green button there. So I can hear it clicking when you press on it, but when I test for continuity by, touching these 2 leads here with a multimeter, I get nothing. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that says that it's broken or just, non-functioning, but in my experience, it usually is that. So unless there's something special about this switch that it doesn't do continuity, a traditional way, so to speak, then I'm not sure. I don't know the make or model of this switch. I tried to find online. There was nothing about it. I may have to just remove it, and maybe I can open it up and clean it. That might help, or at the very least, maybe there's a model number on it and I can find it and at least find a suitable replacement for it. So for now, the floppy drive is going to be out of commission, and that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Also, this is the first video I'm recording with my new wireless microphone. Audio might sound funny for the next few videos as I tweak and adjust and things like that. I did manage to find myself a TRS to TRS cable in my collection here, so I can use it with my LG phone. So that's kind of neat in case you don't know what I'm talking about. When I was doing a demo of the microphone itself, the LG camera app will not work with USB-C audio or Bluetooth for some reason. So I was like, oh man, that's going to be a problem, even though my personal phone will work with it. I try not to use my personal phone too much for recording, maybe quick shots here and there, but that's it. Anyway, though, back to this. So I'm going to sideline this for now, put it back together as much as possible. I'm not going to reconnect it or anything, but I do want to get it assembled just so I can mount it in the case so it looks the part at the very least. And that leads me to the next thing I'm going to talk about. And that is to talk about the case, which I can't even get in frame right now. So you just have to use your imagination. You've probably seen plenty of these 5150 and 5160 style chassis, so we'll make do. But as you can see, there's definitely some dirt and grime and stuff like that. Looks like a little bit of moisture here. Nothing to cause any rust, fortunately. A little bit here as well, too. Again, I don't see any rust or anything, so that's a good sign. Front looks okay. Very minimal scratches or anything like that. 3 out of the 4 feet are available. Not on all 4, unfortunately, but they do have these little openings here where you can probably snap in alternate style feet. I do want to try and keep it as original as possible. What the heck? Oh, magnet from my microphone. We'll just put that there. Anyway, these have kind of become hard anyway, so I may replace them. I'm pretty sure I can still get these at the local hardware store. If not, I know I can get them online. So I'll replace those at some point. Probably not in this video, or maybe I will if I have time to pick some up before I finish wrapping up. But I do want to just wrap this up. I want to get this cleaned up, get the board back installed, get everything as close to working as possible. And by that, I mean, it will work. I'm going to use the VGA card for now, and I'm going to use the PicoMem for booting hard disk images, floppy disk images, since I don't have a working floppy drive. Hard drive works, as we saw a few videos ago, but I don't want to use it all the time. I kind of want to preserve it as much as possible for times when I want to record a video with hard drive clicking, or maybe showing something off with the hard drive specifically. So, yeah, so there's that. So this is the main chassis, and I'm going to go grab the top cover and front bezel. And again, it's not going to fit in a frame, but there's a little bit of dirt and smudges and stuff like that. But for the most part, other than this corner here, which seems to have gotten bashed, it's in pretty good shape. I'll have to do something about that, take care of the rust, and maybe I can find a little thing of paint that's going to be close enough in color to that. It's going to be in the back, so not that big of a deal. The front, which again isn't going to fit in the frame, but it's not yellowed at all, and I don't know if these do yellow, but it's in good shape otherwise. Internally, pretty good too. So I just have to basically give it a good vacuuming and dusting, wipe it down, and the chassis itself will be good to go. Then we can mount the board, power supply. Like I said, we'll sort of install the drives themselves just keeping them in the case to kind of keep them safe, and also just to plug up the holes and everything, because I don't believe I have any bezel covers that will fit. We'll kind of wrap this up, although we will also do a couple of other things before we completely put this together. So, all right, it's not perfect, but because of some of these, well, some of the areas are just, covered by this metal that's welded in place, I can't really do much with the cleaning. And even in the sides where I can get something like this to reach, it's not perfect, but it doesn't have dust or grime or anything like that anymore, so that's good enough for me. Let me show you the top cover. So again, can't get it in frame, so it is what it is. Got rid of most of the rust. I'm going to probably take some sandpaper to it. I mean, it's already scratched and everything, so it's not like I'm going to ruin the finish any more than it already is. But after cleaning it, I noticed also that this is actually a scuff. And so was that. And there's a little tiny dot here that's actually rust. It's got a scratch here, unfortunately, and a few other minor scratches here and there. So, I mean, it was well loved. We'll call it that. So, all right, since I can't get it in the frame, we're going to switch back to the chassis itself, load the motherboard up, and get everything else assembled. All right, let's see if I remember how to get this thing back in. It does have these nylon standoffs. I think they're made from nylon. But they should just... Actually, wait, no, that's got to go this way. Duh. And the furnace is kicking in, so... Okay, so yeah, there's got a little bit of support. It's still more flexed than I would like, but I'll have to deal with it. Let me plug this in before I forget. And then we got to get a couple of screws in to keep it in place, and then go from there. So I don't have enough screws for everything. The 2 screws that were originally here, I still want to put in here just to have them there. But I did buy some, they're supposed to be replacements for them, but they're not quite exact. The heads in them are larger. They're actually probably similar to, so I do have on here, a more modern screw. So hopefully it'll work. I actually haven't had a chance to test them yet, so this thing is a mismatch anyway. It's a power supply. If you remember, I had to replace the screws in there because there were like 3 or 4 different types of screws in there to begin with, bolts, what have you. So it's already not going to be 100% original, but good enough, I guess. So we got that. Nothing else needs to be connected. We know all the RAM works. Let's go ahead and get some expansion cards installed. But actually, before that, I have a couple upgrades I want to do, and I know it's not showing up properly in camera, but one is an NEC V20, and I also have an 8087, and I know this is probably not anti-static foam, but it's what they shipped it with, so I'm going to get these installed, and hopefully they work, hopefully they're not fakes. I bought them on eBay, but I don't know where they came from, so we all know sometimes fake chips come from China, so hopefully they're not, but like I said, let's go ahead and see if I can carefully remove this. I know this side's going to be difficult, and I probably should have done this with the motherboard out, but I just have to do it all from this side here. I did deox it, so... And the pens aren't bent this time. Yay, I did something right. Alright, so I think they might have put some fresh solder on, because they're very shiny, unless this is new old stock. Let's see. Make sure. There we go. Yep, they're all in. And now the 8087. I do like that this is a ceramic package instead of a plastic one, or epoxy, which I guess technically is a plastic maybe, so go ahead and correct me in the comments. It looks like it's in. Alright, we'll go with the VGA card. And yeah, I know, it's not necessarily period accurate, but it's more convenient. at least until I can recap the CGA card and get the MCE to VGA adapter going. Which I'll probably do in a future video maybe, or maybe it'll just be a personal project and you guys won't get to see me put it together. We'll see. Alright, and then the other card, of course, is the PicoMem, which I'm going to space out and install it into this slot here. At least it'll keep it from moving around. I'm not going to reinstall the MFM controller or the floppy disk controller just because I don't know if they're going to complain because no drive detected. I mean, they probably will, but I don't want to have to deal with that. So I'm just going to put those away. And in their place, I'm going to put some expansion slot covers. And what did I do with them? I don't have anything that's going to match this. I didn't get any of the original ones. And so it's going to be a hodgepodge for now until I can get a bunch of matching ones. Actually, these probably won't work because I won't really use the screws. Unless I picked these specifically because I was missing 2 screws. And oh well. Do I have more of these somewhere? So I forgot I bought a package of these. They are ventilated, but at least they're black. And they'll match, nicely with this, I believe. Again, they're not the originals, but I don't have those. So we're just going to have to make do with what I've got. There. All right. Next is going to be the power supply. And of course it secures from the back. Let's turn this around. So I'm not going to be able to show too much since I don't have any way of doing so at the time. So apologies if it's too dark but all I am doing is putting in 4 screws. Okay, now, like I said, I'm going to install the floppy drive and the hard drive, but not connect them or anything. I guess I just want them to look the part. And of course, these screws are going to be too large for it too. So maybe this isn't. No, because these fit. They can be 2 different sizes. And now the hard drive, which I forgot is only half height. So I am going to need some sort of faceplate, which maybe I can find one online to 3D print. They're definitely the IBM style screws. Alright, so gotta connect a power connector here. It's going to be all over the place. And again, remember when you plug these 2 in, got to match up black to black. Otherwise, magic smoke gets released and you can't put it back in once it's been released. At least not easily. So, all right. So faceplate. Let me see what I can come up with. So I forgot. I got these with it. But of course, there's no way for me to mount it to anything. And it has to be put in from... Actually, they won't even fit at all unless they're designed for the other side. And I have a bunch of these for some reason. Though I do also have this, and it looks more IBM-ish than anything, but the tabs are broken off, unfortunately. So, and again, I don't think that would fit anyway. Let's see if I have any face plates, because I really don't want to leave this open. This one doesn't fit. It just bows out. And I don't have an original one. Alright, so the only other one I have is this. And I may have some beige ones, but I don't want to mess with that. This is not going to fit. This is going to bow out too, because it's already too wide. So that's that. Oh well, I'll make do with something. Maybe I'll 3D print something later for it. But for now, we have one thing left to do. Well, besides secure these cables here. And again, I'm not going to get this on camera due to how large it is, but I'll see what I can do. You're going to see it perfectly, but this is the best angle I can get. And since I can't really show you the front because of the camera angle and everything, I'll use my personal phone here to get a little bit of footage. But there we go. Again, I don't like that hole there, but there's nothing I can do about it at this time. I have to get a dry bay cover. I'll check to see what they have on eBay, if they have any original ones for the 5150. If not, I'll 3D print something because it's going to be better than nothing, right? So, all right, let me go put it in its semi-permanent home, and we'll continue and maybe wrap up this video for a change. Okay, so maybe this won't be its permanent home because, well, it takes up half the freaking desk. And I really wanted to use this desk to display more than just one PC. I mean, I could push it to the side, and I'd have room for at least one more desktop variety, maybe even be able to squeeze a tower in there. But this is what I have to work with. So that's probably why so many YouTubers just keep them all on like heavy, sturdy steel shelving. But it is what it is. I do have everything as buttoned up as I can. I was not able to find corked feet in the area, which is odd because I swear I was shopping like 2 months ago and I saw them all over the place. And I was like, hi, I might need one of those one day if I ever get around to doing anything with the 5150. And sure enough, I needed it and I can't find it. So I'm going to have to look online and just buy some from there. I did take care of some of the scratches, though unfortunately the paint isn't quite a match. Good enough. I mean, I went online and someone said if you got a Rust-Oleum French beige, it would be a match, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it matches, so we'll see, whatever. I mean, it's also possible that maybe this particular paint yellowed over time or somehow discolored. I'm not like an expert in paint, so I can't say for sure, but at the very least, there isn't any exposed metal anymore. And of course, I did print out a replacement faceplate. It wasn't specifically for the 5150, so I just printed one out. I saw the measurements that it had, so I reduced its length by 1 millimeter as well as its thickness. It kind of sort of fits. It's not a perfect fit, but it's good enough for me. And because of the fact that my print bed is textured, it's got a texture on it too that kind of sort of matches the hard drive and the floppy disk drive. It's not a perfect match again, but I'll take it. So I have it hooked up to a flat panel because I don't have a CRT for it, especially not a matching one. I've got everything hooked up, except for a keyboard. I got to plug that in, and I'm going to have to rest it on top because, as you can see, there really is no room for a keyboard anywhere else. I suppose I could, if I wanted to, shift the chassis over there and have the keyboard down here, maybe even angle the monitor, and it might even get me better camera angle too. So maybe that's what I'll do. Not to mention the fact that this desk is slightly bowing in the middle now because of the weight on it. So if I move it to the corner, the desk leg should hopefully help maintain it a little bit better. Let me rearrange things for a bit and then we'll continue. And for the keyboard, I'm going to pick up this new old stock that I got over from Silicon Alley Recyclers back in November. Yeah, it's Windows 95 keyboard. It's PS2. But since the adapter itself takes PS2 keyboards, it'll work perfect. Plus, it's beige. It's going to be as close as I can get to, era appropriate since I don't have a Model F keyboard or a Model M. And probably won't because they're expensive, but it is what it is. I'll get this set up and let's turn this on and make sure everything still works because I have not yet tested either CPU or the coprocessor upgrade. Oh, so it's not a PS2 keyboard. It's a PS2 compatible keyboard. So it comes with one of these little adapters here that goes from the AT DIN to a mini DIN. So that's fine. I still need this because, again, the AT to XT keyboard adapter I have only has a PS2 port on it. So this comes in real handy. And if you ever wanted to see a new beige keyboard, it's not clicky, and it's showing up probably more beige on camera than it is in real life, but you guys get the gist of it. It is not yellowed, I can tell you that. All right, so the computer's in the corner. I've got a display on top. There's the keyboard. Let me go ahead and get as good of a camera angle as I'm going to get with this setup and turn this on. That was the VGA BIOS that just flashed there briefly. So I pushed S for setup, but it's keyboard's not number lock is on, but the keyboard itself is not responding. All right, so it turns out it was just the cable. For whatever reason, the end that goes into the PC itself, it's not a super snug fit. I may find another DIN cable to bridge the adapter. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So let me go ahead though, and yeah, let's do that. There. Let's see what happens now. All right, so boots from the hard drive, good sign. Let's see if the emulated floppy works. So I've been trying to run this for a while because apparently a few copies that I found online weren't working very well. So that's right. It does multiple disks. Hang on, let me go and switch. All right, I think I've got this. So if I go do this and then I think that's the right disk. Maybe not. There we are. So it does detect the V20. That's a good sign, and it does detect the coprocessor, and it sees that it's a VGA adapter. Yeah, looks like everything's working. Heck yeah. This is annoying. I might have to just copy this to the hard drive next time, but for now, we'll see. Yeah, we want to run the memory test. It does detect 384K. That's the additional 128K by the PicoMem. I could enable, I think, technically up to a meg, maybe even more, but it's slower memory. I believe it uses 6 wait states, which again is going to be slower. So, and since I don't really plan on running anything too advanced just yet, I'll probably just keep this as is. At some point, I do want to keep an eye out for a full-on 384K memory card expansion so I can get the full 640K and then, figure something else out. Or if I'm fortunate enough, maybe even find some sort of expanded memory that'll get me a full physical 1 meg. Not sure how that works on these older machines, on these 5150s, because, again, I'm still new to all this. So I'm going to let this run and just see what happens. And yeah, everything passed. Obviously, we can't run these two here, so we'll press any key to continue. I don't really need to test anything else. Maybe let's see what happens. Cool. Anything else that I want to do? I won't test the video because I know it's going to do a bunch of blinking things on screen, and I don't want to potentially trigger anybody. So, I guess that's it. Oh, that's right. It was on disk 2. And there's the disk info. BIOS date 1982. Interesting. HP Vectra. Huh. I guess HP used them in the machine and that's why it's being detected that way. Or maybe this is a custom version of the V20 that was designed for HP. I have no idea. It does see the virtual drive, virtual floppy disk drives. All that fun stuff. So yeah, I don't have a mouse hooked up. I don't have a joystick hooked up. I don't have any parallel ports or serial ports because I don't have an I/O controller card like that. Maybe it's something I need to look into at some point. Although I don't know how much I want to expand this. We'll see. But yeah, it looks like we're good to go here. Let's go ahead and exit. And let's do a few more things here and then wrap this up. I gotta edit that batch file. I think it's not choosing the correct options. Oh, but it's loading. Woohoo! It works! I have absolutely no idea if I remember how to play this game. And this is a official sequel to Pharaoh's Tomb, if you're familiar with that game. So, in fact, I believe the colors that are displayed now were the basic color scheme for that game, whereas when you saw the title on here, the purple and blue, Arctic Adventure. Well, Arctic, purple and bluish is more for ice. This is more for desert themes, so... I'm not actually going to read the whole thing. You can pause and read it yourself. And this game was released as freeware. It is not open source or anything like that, but they did release it as freeware. So for the time being, at the very least, it is available free of charge, I believe, on their website. If it's Apogee's website, 3D Realms, I'm not sure who actually owns the rights to that name anymore. So let's go ahead and only does supports PC speakers as far as I remember, but I don't have a sound card in here anyway, and I don't have Picoman configured for sound, so... But I have no idea if this will... Oh, maybe it will work. So I have no idea how to... Oh, I guess I'm already playing. I could have sworn that the screen size was much larger in this game, but it's been a minute, so... This is what I remember. Oh, went down the pipe. Probably shouldn't have done that. All right, let's see if this works. Not about half a frame per second, but And this is just, I believe, the demo. I don't think I can control this, at least. Haven't found a way to yet, but I haven't messed with Flight Sim in forever, so... Still trying to pan out. Oh, look, it's Chicago, and there's Michigan. Ohio River, or Mississippi River, Ohio River here. Yeah, that's, there's Flight Sim, 3D game. All right. Oh, look there. Changed the view. Sears Tower. I forget what they call it now, but I'm always going to call it the Sears Tower, so... And I believe is this Midway Airport? I don't think it's O'Hare. But I don't remember. Either way, here's Flight Sim running on an IBM 5150 running an NEC V20, an 8087 math-core processor, and 384K of RAM. And it's taken flight, so... Cool. Alright, let's wrap this thing up. So these are my adventures with the 5150. Been a long time coming. Like I said, I got this years ago, and it was just sitting on a shelf in the basement for the longest time, and I'm glad I finally decided to do something with it. Learned a little bit along the way about how some of these older systems worked. Maybe at some point I'll get a 286 and a 386, and I can bridge my knowledge gap back from the beginning up to the Pentium era, which is really truly where I started learning computers. Yeah, I messed around on some 386s and 46s in school, and probably even a 286 or maybe a 8088 or 8086 IBM PS2 that I had back in grade school, but I really don't remember that far back, unfortunately. But it was fun. Like I said, I wish I could get the floppy disk drive working, but I'm going to mess around with the track 0 sensor at some point in the future and see if I can't get it working, or at the very least see if I can find a replacement for it. If not, I'm going to see if I can find another drive, and this could be delegated to spare parts, maybe. These drives are not necessarily cheap, but it is what it is. So let me talk about some future plans now. So I still have to do a lot of stuff with PicoMem, a lot of things to learn about it, on how it works and functions and everything. And it's been a minute since I checked for any updated firmware, so there might be something new out there that enables additional features. I did buy the sound module for it, so I've got to get that installed and configured so we can try to get some basics, at least some basic sound out of this thing. The other thing is, because it supports a USB OTG, I have this old hub. It's a card reader. I don't think the cards will work, but I do believe the USB ports will work, which will give me options for USB joystick support, USB mouse support, and I think USB keyboard support even. So I might not even need that adapter anymore. I will still use it, but so I have that as an option. And then, of course, I still do want to try to, like I said, get the floppy disk drive working. I need to recap the CGA card because I want to see how that works, if it works at all or not, or if it needs more work than just the capacitors. And yeah, that's it. So you guys have any chip suggestions, any games I should try for the that will work on the 5150, any other old or modern hardware I should look into getting to, maybe enhance the experience a little bit, let me know down below. Otherwise, thanks all. Catch you later.